Hey class, let's get started on practice 7B. I'm skipping practice 7A because it was a fairly simple exercise that we had to do, and 7B is a little more complicated. So let's jump into it. The step 2 talks about, after you've opened up your starter file, to make sure that we have the right units set up. So we'd want to come down to customize and unit setup, and we want to make sure that we are on meters, and that our scale says that, let me move this out of the way, the system unit scale is set up to have 1 unit equals a meter. So once you've confirmed that, we can hit OK here, or cancel out of both actually, and bring up your slate material editor again. We are going to expand materials and scanline categories. Materials scanline, and double click on the standard material to add it to this. So standard. Double click on the title bar to bring up the parameters editor, and change the material name to quad map. Instead of material 2, quad map. Enter. If it's still highlighted and you want to make sure that it's, just click into another category. And now it has changed on the view 1 area as well. Now we want to expand the maps rollout. And for diffuse color, oh, sorry, it's actually the maps rollout on this part. So the diffuse color, click on the no map, which we know that that's going to bring up our material map browser. And we're going to double click on bitmap, because now we want to find a bitmap that we're going to add to this file. And we're going to open up the Q257938 TIFF. So browse back out to maps and find that TIFF. Q right there. Open it, and there we've got our bitmap right there. Now step number 6 says in the view 1 sheet, note that the bitmap is wired to the input socket of the diffuse color. Double click on the bitmap title bar. We're going to double click on this now to bring up this editor, and click the view image to open the bitmap. Where is that part at? Bitmap parameters, there we go. View image right there. So this is the image that bitmap contains. And then we can close the specified cropping placement window. So it just says, just to check it out, this is what we're going to place on top of this. In the coordinates rollout, clear the real world scale. It's already cleared. And clear the tile for both U and V. So I'm going to clear it like that. We want this map to display only once and in a specific location. So it's not tiled. Tiles mean that's going to repeat itself every, tiling means every unit, every spacing. So now in the viewport, select the terrain object. You can make sure that is the terrain object here. And select quad material, and in the material editor toolbar, we're going to add that to it. The material does not preview in the viewport, so we didn't see a change here. In the viewport, right click on the terrain object and select object properties. So right click and object properties. It brings up this dialog box here. I'll move it over here because it's hard to see over the other dialog box. In the display properties area, clear the vertex channel display. And click OK. It says now the gray color of the material is visible on the terrain. Let me move that over before I hit OK. Now we can see it as gray. Now, no texture map indicates a mapping issue. So that went away, that dialog box. Now it asks us to render it. So I'm going to do a quick render of it. There we go, missing map coordinates. Click cancel in the missing map coordinates dialog box and close the render window. Cancel and close. Step 11 on page 7-12. So now in the viewport, select the terrain object again, if it's not already selected. And we're going to go to Modify panel. And in the modifier list, we're going to select UVW map. So now the terrain has a modifier called UVW map. Since it's not meant to tile in the parameters rollout, verify that planar is selected. Where is planar? Planar is selected at the mapping up here. And clear the real world map size if it is selected. Mine is not. So in the command panel now, in the parameters rollout, note that the map was automatically scaled to the correct coordinates displayed in the length and width values, which is 4,000 by 4,000. In the main toolbar now, we're going to click Render Production because that UVW map is there. Let's render this production and see what happens. So now we've got a topographical map matched with a terrain map that shows the difference in elevations. It says to close the render window in step 14. If the map does not display in the viewport in the Slate Material Editor toolbar, click Show to display the map. Well, mine is already, but they're saying that if it does not show here in the Slate Material Editor, we need to click on Show Shaded Material in Viewport, right there. In the modifier stack now, expand the UVW and select Gizmo to enter sub-object mode. Remember, anything underneath these modifiers is a sub-object of those modifiers. In the main toolbar now, we're going to do select and move the image on the terrain object. You can adjust the map more precisely using the UVW map gizmo. And then in the command panel, select UVW map to exit. So I'm going to close this down, and I'm not really certain why we need to move anything at all, because it's kind of on the object as it is now anyways. Uh-oh. It's thinking. There we go. It looks pretty much on top of it as it is. Make sure you save your file as MyLargeScaleProjectMapped _ your first name and turn it in. I'll see you guys for the next project.